classic Viennese recipe. Susan travels with her work, and when she was last in Eastern Europe, she shared with us how much she enjoyed her trips to the coffee houses and the cakes and the torts and the strudels. So I thought she'd appreciate this recipe. I butter the pan so the cake won't stick, but then I sprinkle the inside with sugar so that the cake has something to climb onto as it rises in the oven. Just turn the pan so the sides get coated with the sugar as well. I also put a sheet of parchment just in the bottom of the pan, just to make sure it comes out very easily after it's done baking. And I've also preheated the oven to 350 degrees. So I'm going to get my dry ingredients ready. I've got half a cup of flour here, and a full cup of walnut pieces are going to go into the cake itself. The flour coats the nuts as they grind to contain the oils. So I've got half a cup of flour in with my nut mixture, and I need to sift another half a cup of flour, a little bit of salt, and a quarter teaspoon of baking powder. Just a little stir to combine them. So all that's left to do is whip the eggs with sugar and a bit of vanilla. Eggs whip to a better volume when they're room temperature or even a little warmer. So I just immerse the eggs in hot tap water, let them sit for a few minutes, and now they're ready to be whipped. I've got 7 whole eggs. A teaspoon of vanilla. While I start beating the eggs, I'll gradually add 3/4 of a cup of sugar, whip them for 6 minutes until they're a lovely, frothy, buttery color. Look at the volume I have. I can tell the eggs are ready. When I lift the beaters, it leaves a ribbon. Now to add my walnut mixture. And in 2 additions, fold it in. The eggs will deflate a little bit, but believe me, they'll keep their volume. And I find it best to fold quite quickly. I pull the spatula through the bottom and just through the eggs, quickly but gently at the same time. There we go. You can see the walnuts through the cake batter. Scrape it into the pan. I'll gently take this to the oven, and it takes 35 to 40 minutes to bake. It'll be tempting, but I'll try not to open the oven door before 30 minutes. But what I can do is get started on the buttercream icing. This icing is a buttercream icing, but it's also like a custard filling at the same time. And that's how I started the recipe. I cooked a custard, 1 cup of 2% milk plus 2 tablespoons of custard powder, and I've just let it cool here now, so it's completely cool. Along with a 1/4 cup of honey. Honey and walnuts is such a classic combination. I'll add a splash of vanilla and about 2 tablespoons of brandy. And while I mix everything together, I'll gradually add 1.5 cups of unsalted butter, and it's at room temperature. I've got 2 cups of walnuts that I ground with 1 cup of icing sugar. I'll just add that while I mix the icing. Honey, walnuts, I can smell the brandy too. I've sliced my cool cake in half. I'm going to spread a layer of apricot jam. Using apricot jam in torts is a European classic. I'll finish icing the top and the sides of the cake, and then I'm going to garnish the cake quite simply with some walnut halves on the top and some walnut pieces on the side.